Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom is directed by J.A. Bayona and is written by Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly. This time around, our characters are trying to save the dinosaurs from Isla Nublar, but are duped into actually selling these dinosaurs to the black market, and Owen and Claire must find a way to stop this. Now, I was very excited when this movie was coming out. When I heard that J.A. Bayona, a director who has made The Impossible and A Monster Calls, two films that I really enjoyed, I was excited to see what he could do with such a movie like this. He is more akin to a horror director. He has a more gothic horror style to him, and so he brings all those elements from his previous films to here to make what is probably the darkest entry in the Jurassic Park franchise since the Lost World Jurassic Park. It has a lot more of a horror vibe near the last half of the film, and so it really did appeal to me in that regard. And the first half is like a typical Jurassic Park kind of adventure. The characters want to save the dinosaurs, and so they go into the island to try and do things and save the dinosaurs. And once the island starts erupting and the volcano starts wreaking havoc, we see that everything's not as it seems, as it seems like they have been duped, really. We get a few new extra characters here, like this nerdy guy and this nerdy nurse girl, and they're forgettable to me. I didn't care about them. Like, they were never funny really to me. They always felt like dead weight, and just, they could have been killed. But this is like the start of when the Jurassic World franchise started not killing main characters, and so there's not a whole lot of tension in that regard. But how it portrayed a lot of these dinosaurs, I thought was pretty cool. They always felt really animalistic in terms of their behavior. There's not much moments for like superhero kind of dinosaurs, apart from the last act in which things get a little bit too crazy. But before then, the dinosaurs still felt like actual animals, and I really enjoyed the way they were portrayed. Also, the visual effects, in my opinion, are on the same level as the first film. A lot of people say that the visual effects here is better than the first Jurassic World, and in some cases, yes. There's a lot of good cinematography here. That's mostly due to J. Bayona's great directing here. He does a really good job with the camera work and how he wants his shots framed and how he portrays these dinosaurs in scale. Like, there's a reason why the Rexy in front of the volcano shot is one of the most popular in the entire franchise and why it's on the poster. It is a beautiful shot, but I've always still felt like the visual effects here were just, in terms of CGI, on the same level, because there's a few cases where the CGI does not look good really at all and looks way too polished, in my opinion. But what this movie does more so than the previous film was add in a few more animatronic effects than the first Jurassic World. Because the first one, we only got that Apatosaurus, but here, we actually get an animatronic Blue, an animatronic T-Rex, we get an animatronic Stegosaurus. It was a little bit more practical when it comes to the close-ups of these dinosaurs, and all these animatronics work very well, especially the animatronic for the Indoraptor, which is a really cool design in my opinion. I really love this gothic monstrosity. The only thing I don't love is the militarized dinosaur subplot. Why does this keep happening? It is stupid. It is absolutely dumb. These dinosaurs, whenever they are controlled by something, are not as scary as when nature overcomes human technology. And the Indoraptor, the fact that it had to be controlled by something, just made it a little bit less scary. Whenever it's not controlled by anything, this thing is fantastic, and I love it. I especially love the last act whenever it's in the mansion and is hunting down our characters, and J. Bayona just goes full on out with his gothic imagery. It was great. But whenever it cuts to the silly parts of the militarized dinosaur subplot, it is absolutely stupid. I didn't like it. What was also a missed opportunity in this movie was exploring more of Maisie's character and the implications of her existence. I thought it was something that was going to be set up in Jurassic World Dominion and be explored more there, but they really didn't do that, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Here, you just get a new twist in the franchise that now we're having human clones. And in my opinion, I still like it. Even after watching Dominion, I still think something like this will show that we as humans are starting to utilize this new technology in more inhumane ways. Even the villain, who actually does kill someone in this franchise, which makes him pretty hateable in my opinion. Like, he's one of the better villains in that regard, despite him being a bit more generic like some other villains. The fact that he was able to go as far as kill someone presents a level of stakes for our characters, because we have someone who isn't above killing people himself, and now we have more of a reason to be afraid of what's going to happen in this story. But I wish we could explore more of his side of things, explore why he wants to control these dinosaurs and sell them, and why he and Lockwood kept Maisie around. He even mentions how much of an unholy thing it was to bring back Lockwood's daughter. The implications that this movie has and the questions that are left hanging are very interesting. It's just the movie is a bit messy at times with the story, because it wants to do so much and say so much that it can kind of be a bit overbearing, and it makes the story feel a bit jumbled and all over the place, and that leads to the pacing being a bit slow at times, especially when we are in either New Blood. It felt like we were just there and we get out of there very fast. I felt like it could have used a few more minutes of screen time there, developing the characters a bit, and then when we head into the boat, we could have gotten a little bit more characterization there, and then the final act would have brought things together a whole lot better in that regard. If we had like a few more minutes of character moments in the first two acts of the film, it could have been a bit better. But all in all, it's a bit messy at times, really. Overall, I would say that this movie is fine. Again, not one of my favorites in the franchise. I like the ambition. I like the presentation. The execution is messy. The characters make dumb decisions at times also, and it makes them a bit unlikable. And there's a few dumb moments here and there that took me out of the film, like with Maisie pressing the button. I understand the decision why to do that, but I feel like it would have been a bit more impactful if we had T-Rex or another dinosaur, or all the dinosaurs together, just break down the door and showcase that nature has had enough of human shit and has decided to take things in its own control, and the dinosaurs just start wreaking havoc in that regard. I feel like the ending would have been a whole lot stronger if the dinosaurs themselves broke out of the cage. Although the implications of that ending, despite not being delivered that much in the next film, I really like. I really like this ending, what it had potentially meant for the franchise at the time. I still think it was something that is very effective. Not as much anymore, but it is still a very effective cliffhanger, and I really like the way things came together by the end. Overall, this movie has a lot of problems. It's a lot messier, the script is a lot messier, the ideas are ambitious, and I really like the horror and gothic tone. The action is pretty cool, the dinosaur effects still look pretty cool. Some of the main characters are still fun, like Chris Pratt and Claire Dearing. I felt like they were much better characters than the previous film, especially Owen. He has a lot more characterization here regarding his relationship with Blue. But all in all, this is probably, between this and Jurassic Park 3, my least favorite in the franchise. I think I like Jurassic Park 3 a bit better, not just due to nostalgia, but it had a much clearer idea of what it wanted to be, where this movie was just a bit more messier, and I felt like it could have been improved with a few more rewrites here and there. I felt like if it had just a few more drafts given, and they had a bit more characterization here, the movie would have been a whole lot better. But as of what it is right now, it is just a fine enough entry into this franchise, and I'm going to give Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom a B-. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.